Because the Lord, He is my shepherd.
Minister Lord.
I have everything that I need. He lets me rest in the meadow's grass. Yes, He does. And He leads me beside the quiet stream, and He restored my failing health, and He helps me to do what I loves Him the most. Yes, that's why I'm saying
you guys are in worship, and what you got to realize is while you're in worship, I'm at work. See, I don't get to worship like I want to. When I'm here, I got to go to work. And so from the moment I pull on the parking lot, I'm already at work. And so I'll worship tonight. I'll go somewhere and worship, but I got to go to work. And so it's crazy that I sit back and sense the environment and the atmosphere. And it seems to be as I listen and as I feel the vibe, that there's a heaviness on many people. And you're looking and you're seeking a relief, some light at the end of the tunnel, some Lord, give me just a dose of some peace, a dose of some happiness. And don't you know, I'm not going to preach a Christmas message this morning, but don't you know when Jesus came on that night where there was that star in the east and those shepherds, that the angels literally said that this baby that is born is bringing peace to the world. And so Pastor Chauncey said it best. Let me tell you something. You can't buy peace at Macy's. Come on. You can't get peace on Amazon. That this peace that surpasses, I'm preaching already, this peace that surpasses all understanding. And there's at least 10 people in here that know that you can only find that in Jesus Christ. You can only find that spending time in God's Word. You can only find, there's 3 people that know what I'm talking about. Maybe 4 people that know what I'm talking about. I said there's at least 10 people in here. So 5 people that know what I'm talking about. 6 people that know, 7 people that know what I'm talking about. 8 people that know what I'm talking about. 9 people that know what I'm talking about. 10 people, thank you very much. Because you ain't the only one that's faced foreclosure. You're not the only one that's faced a dismal doctor's report. You're not the only one that has had more month left than money. Somebody can testify that in the midst of adverse situations, the Prince of Peace can sustain you through it all. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and let the King of Glory come in. Who is this King of Glory? He's the Lord, strong and mighty. The Lord is mighty in battle. What battle? Is it the Battle of Gettysburg? Is it the Battle of World War I? It's the Battle of World War II? Battle of Vietnam? No, the battle that you're fighting right now, the Lord says, lift up your head. I'm already in the battle with you. See, that's my encouragement I want to give you. See, the message has changed about 3 or 4 times, but today I guess I got to work with dealing with this depression and this heavy spirit. Yeah, somebody's lonely, somebody's frustrated, but if you pay attention with me for the next 20 to 25 minutes, I'm going to give you the keys to unlocking your happiness during this Advent season. From the Word. Let me go ahead and I already prayed, didn't I? Okay, cool. I'll give you some scripture sprinkled throughout this feeble dissertation that I'll deliver. I'm driving on my way I-70 eastbound toward the Keystone exit, and I'm wondering, man, how can I open up today the intro? And all of a sudden, my man, Pastor Tim Taylor, blings my phone. He's calling me as he's pulling up on his parking lot there at Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, and it's about 9:15. Pastor Taylor calls me. Pastor Dickens. I'm like, what's up, man? Is everything all right, man? You normally don't call this early on a Sunday morning. You and I have late night pillow talk sometime, just talking ministry and talking stuff. He says, man, I just drove by one of the most grotesque scenes I've ever seen in my life. I said, Pastor Taylor, what you talking about? He said, man, right here on 25th and Dearborn, just this morning. He says, Pastor, man, it might impact your people. It might be somebody from your congregation, but there's yellow tape out here, man. He was like, man, I just passed this body right on 25th and Dearborn. And him and I just started to dialogue about that, man. And we said, man, we're sad it's a member of our community. We're praying it's not a member of our faith community in the church. And we began to talk and say, man, are we marching toward another record? I said, year after year, it's getting higher and higher and higher. And he's like, yeah, man, it's crazy. And then we started talking about, what are you talking about this morning? I said, well, man, for me, I'm closing out the year really dealing with family. Yes, and just talking about family. And there's so much in family. There's children that are part of a family. There's husbands. There's wives. There's grandparents. There's so much to unpack in the feeble few weeks that we have left. But as we began to talk, I said, well, man, what you're telling me has everything to do even with the family. Because there's some family that's going to be devastated when they get the news this morning. And I said, man, what has happened to our families? I said, man, it has changed. I serve in the school system, man, and I listen to our 5th graders and 6th graders, and man, they do and say some of the stuff that you and I could have never thought about even doing at that age. The thought couldn't even cross our minds. But yet still, this is what they say, this is what they think, this is what they do, Elder said. And we began to talk, and I said, well, man, what do you think the issue is with the family? How do we fix the family? Because everybody in here knows that the basic unit of life is the family. When the family goes, there goes the neighborhood. When the family goes, there goes the community. When the family goes, there goes the schools. When the family goes, there it goes. So one thing we have to learn is that since the devil wants to destroy the society in which we live, the devil's main focus is to attack the family. Let me help you, because the enemy is very upset. Because when you go to battle and you go to war, one thing they teach you in basic boot camp is that you have to know your enemy.
That's right.
It is not an accident that in 2018, I know y'all not the only ones, I'm not the only one that remembers yesteryear in the family. And how we long for those days. What has happened since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s? We can point our finger at a lot of stuff. Technology. Because now our kids have access to the computer and they know how to work it better than all of us. They can watch all kind of crazy stuff on YouTube. They can play all kind of crazy video games where they get awarded for killing people in a video game. They get awarded for stealing a car in a video game. They get awarded for all the stuff in a video game. Stuff that was on cable when we came up is now on local TV now. Ain't nobody gonna talk back to me here. I'm trying to help you understand how things have evolved over time. Something we listen to. See, 96.3 when I was a kid is not the same 96.3 today. You remember love songs back when you was coming up? Everybody gonna talk back to me, man. When they talking about love, romanticize, clean love, how things was just if loving you is wrong, I don't wanna do right. You know, just that was love. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one. I see V is for, y'all didn't know I knew that, did you? Barry White, Barry Manilow, whichever way you want to go. Listen today. It's all about sex, sex, bang, bang, none love. Yeah. Superman, Super Soaker, all that. But this is what, y'all know Super Soaker mean? Talk to me afterwards. I asked one of the kids, they told me that's the only way I know, you know. Yeah, we still do clean love, right? Okay. This is what our kids are bombarded with. Now, we can point our finger at technology, we can point our finger at government. Because you can't whoop your kids. You can whoop your kids, but you can't whoop your kids. Because they say you can whoop your kids, but you whoop your kid. Then you get in trouble for whooping your kid. And so you can't whoop your kids, so they get older, they get disobedient, they get in the world, then the world whoops your kids. What's going on here? If we're going to protect the family and preserve the family, we have to protect our family against the vices of the enemy. The enemy, the devil, is the prince of the air, which means the devil controls the world systems, right? So when you think about airways, Wi-Fi, internet, satellite, that goes through the devil's domain, the air. So Jesus said this, let me give you scripture for y'all accuse me of talking without ever touching a text. John chapter 17, Jesus is rolling out. I believe this is the real Lord's Prayer right here, because this is the fattest text in the scripture where Jesus is praying for believers, Jesus is praying for disciples, Jesus is praying for himself. And look what John 17 says right there in verse number 14. Don't miss this today, please, people. If I was going to title this, I'd tell you how to have a happy Christmas. John 17, verse 14. Check this out. This is Jesus rolling out. He's about to be crucified. He's praying for the disciples before he leaves. And this is what he said in verse 14. He says, I have given them your word. I've given the disciples your word. I've given the people seated in this sanctuary your word. I've given the members of Martindale Church your word. Here it is. And the world has hated them. Who runs the world? The enemy, the devil. Let me tell you something. If you didn't know it by now, the devil hates you. The devil will not bless you. The devil will smile in your face. The devil doesn't bless you. It might look like a blessing, but the devil will bless you in order to curse you. Man, I got blessed with a brand new car, and you know what? The interest rate is only 12.9%. My credit was bad, but the Lord blessed me. So, you know, my payment's only $550. And here you make $600 a week. And you think that's a blessing? No, that's a curse. You know why? Because now you got to struggle. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Now you can't, you've been trying to tithe and give. Now you can't do that because now you got to pay the car payment for 9.5 years. Factoring in the shit, factoring all. You got to look, son, everything that glitters ain't gold, baby. Oh, I know I'm giving him my time, I'm giving my money, I'm giving him my heart, and he hurts me, and he hangs out with all these other females and people, but you know, he really says nice things to me. Your lonely self. So you settle for, the world has hated you. Let's read them. For they are not of the world any more than I am of the world. Last verse. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world. God does not take you out of the world. You're going to live here, okay? But that you protect them from the evil one. You're going to stay here in Indianapolis, right? Or you might go to another state, wherever you go. The devil's going to be there. But God's not taking you out of the world. But while you're in the world, this is God's promise. God will protect you. I think you want to give God some glory right there. You still might have some headaches. You still might have some heartaches. You still might have conflict. You still might have problems. You still might have a bad doctor's report here and there. You still might have challenges with your children. You still might have challenges with your faith and your family. But God says, let me tell you something. I ain't removing you from the tragedies and travesties of the world. But what I promise to do is protect you while you're going through the storm. Thank you, Jesus. Don't move the mountain out of my way. But give me the strength to climb, because I know when I'm climbing, I'm getting stronger. I know when I'm climbing, I'm building endurance. I know when I'm climbing that after a while, I'm going to reach the mountaintop. Well, I feel like Dr. Martin Luther King now. After a while, I'm going to reach the mountaintop. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Yes, sir, of the coming of the Lord. Go ahead and relax real quick. Let's go ahead and get out of here. God says, so let me go ahead and help you out real quick, everybody. In this season of anxiety, for many of us in a season where many of us are dealing with depression, I'm going to show you how to get happiness. But I want to also give you the truth. I'm not going to bring you fluff. I'm going to bring you the stuff. I'm not going to preach a gospel that is absence of issues or problems. But what I am telling you is that God has promised in the midst of loss, in the midst of trial, God says, I will walk with you and be with you. But while I'm walking with you, I need you to walk right. I need you to talk right. I was going to work Ephesians 5 today and tell you what husbands want, what wives want for Christmas, what husbands want for Christmas, what children want for Christmas. But I want to jump right to what we was dealing with in life class this morning. But I ain't going to just skip over it. I'm just not going to unpack it. Husbands, this is what wives want for Christmas. If you want your wife, they say happy wife, happy life. That's right. Women, this is what the husbands want. I ain't going to unpack it. I'm just going to give it to you. But I'm going to get to Psalm 1. Ephesians 5 real quick. You really want to get somebody something for Christmas to make your house happy? Your family happy? This is the secret ingredient in Ephesians 5, because I'm going to be turning here and going back to Psalm 1. You can listen to write it down. But here it is, verse 22. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, which he is the Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Verse 25, husbands, love your wives. Men, you want to know what your women really want? They want love. I wish I had 3 married women that would have clapped their hands right there and said, because this is what you really want. You want love. However that looks. God is wise in his providence. He never tells a husband, the wife, to love your husband. He says, husbands, love your wives. Because since we're wired different, God knows what it is that we need the most to help us tick and to help us top. Women need some love. Whatever that looks like, however that's manifested. For each woman, it's going to be different how that looks, because there are different love languages. Getting gifts for that first girl you had in high school worked for her. But 10, 15, 20 years later, you got to understand, gifts may not make this one tick and tock, because that's not her love language. Her love language may be touch. Whereas instead of her getting a diamond ring, she would rather you just sit with her and massage her hands and massage her head. Hold her hand in public. Touch. What may not work for that one may work for this one. And that is, she don't need diamond rings or touch. She needs talk. Talk to me. Come and talk to me. We're just singing all kinds of songs this morning. I really want to. Listen, I know more than Amazing Grace, okay? I only started preaching in 2005. Yeah, Jodeci. CJ knocked that out the party. Some Jodeci boots. Some, yes, sir. Something like that. Husbands, this is what husbands need, women. Listen, husbands, you want your family to start working better right now? Listen, love your wife more. Wives, you want to know what your husbands want? Verse 33 of chapter 5. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself. And the wife, listen, should, no, maybe, no, could, no. The wives must respect her husband. You know what the husband wants? The husband wants to feel like a man. Anybody want to talk back? If your man works hard and he comes home, show him love in that way of respect. That's what men want. Men can be like, listen, you can keep your love, show me some respect. Make me feel like a man. Remember, Sarah called Abraham Lord. Yeah. It is in the Bible. Now, come. Now, listen, we in 2018 America. You probably gonna call your husband Lord, but you might call him King. Come on, husbands call their wives queen. Listen, we mentor kids, and we call the little girls queens. We call the young men kings. We do that to 10-year-olds. You know what it's doing? Because it's building their self-esteem. Why can't you call your husband king? Why can't you call your wife queen? I'm trying to help us to have happier families. Children. You want a good relationship with your parents? Chapter 6, verse 1. This is what your parents want, children. Children, obey your parents. Are any of my kids here right now? No. I preach this tonight. Look, God is so wise. God has given us the prescription for a great family. Because he's saying what the other ones need. Parents, you want a better relationship with your children? Chapter 6, verse 4. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. What it is, they don't want you all over their back and bring it out their neck.
That's right. That's right.
No time to unpack that. But I just want to give you some stuff. You want to get your children or your parents or your significant others something for Christmas. No, they don't sell that at Macy's or Amazon.
Yes, sir.
That's something you got to conjure up within yourself. And let me tell you something. If you begin to do it, it's going to make a change in how the family structure works. Because we need stronger family dynamic and structure.
Yes.
We have unprecedented divorce rates. We have unprecedented singleness. We have unprecedented marks that have never happened in the history of the family, and many things contribute to that. The boom in the 50s, where the women started having going to work, and you started having kids called latchkey kids. Where now when kids come home, it's not mom necessarily preparing a meal for them and giving them homework guides and all that. Women started going into the workforce, so now the kids had to latchkey themselves into the house and microwave up something. This is very vast. There's so much to deal with and so much to go through. But the dynamics have changed. So we have to figure out how to recoup and fix some of our fractured families so that the world can be a better place. Here's a homework assignment for you. 5 days this week. Maybe 5 days next week. And look how some of us are going to gasp because this is so difficult. Commit to 5 days in a week of having dinner around the table with your family. Ain't nobody gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna get help. I don't care what your house looks like, which is 2 of y'all up to 10 of y'all. Do that. But you know what? You know why that's hard? Because we've gotten even away from that. Where it's a struggle for us to do one day. What would happen if we got around the table? Don't think the table's not important. Jesus had the Last Supper at a table. Right? He knew it was important to be around the table. In the biblical custom and tradition, that was the highlight of the day. Not empire. Some of us work all day just to get to empire. Just to get to Greenleaf. Just to get to Monday Night Raw. Convict me, Lord. It only comes one day a week, though, Monday night. That's a sacred institution. No. Hey! But with kids' schedules and people's schedules, it gets difficult. But commit that. Maybe 5 days is a stretch, or maybe you should start at 4. Do something, but work to getting there. And watch how the dynamic begins to change because culture has evolved to that. I got a few minutes left because I want to give us these keys to happy, like to you being happy. You want to be happy? Good. Let's hit this and go home. Psalm 1. Psalm 1.
Yes, Lord.
Psalm 1. I want to dedicate the remainder of this message to Evangelist Montgomery and Minister Snipes. Praise them for pushing us here this morning.
Really?
Blessed, however you want to say it, Psalm 1. Here it is. 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 Blessed in the Hebrew right here means happy. You want to be happy? You want to be happy? Does anybody want to be happy? Yes. Well, if you're happy and you know what's happy, see, I'm just on the road with songs today. Blessed is the man. This, or in other words, let me substitute that. Happy is the man. Happy is the person who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. In other words, I am happy when I can avoid wicked folk, sinners, and mockers. Yeah. Who is in your circle? Watch this. Let me submit to you. Many of us aren't happy because of who we hang with. I know I'm preaching. I know I'm doing a good job. I know I'm because happy is the person. The rest of the text begins to deal with who you're around. Happy is the person who's not associating with sinners and mockers and wicked people. So let me ask you this. If you are not happy, who do you hang with? And if all you do is hang around family, and I'm still not happy, then And maybe there should be some respect. Maybe there should be some love shared. Maybe there should be some submission shared. Maybe there should be some of this stuff we just saw in Ephesians 5 shared. Because happy is the person who's not rolling with wicked, scornful, or mocking people. And notice that when they start off, they walking.
Yeah. Come on, Pastor.
But the longer they hang with the wicked person, they start standing.
Amen. Listen.
The more they deal with the sinner and the scoffer, they get to the place of sitting.
Lord, sitting in the middle.
So they started with movement. But the longer you hang with other unhappy people, you get stuck in a place where you ain't even moving no more. Boy, I wish I had some witnesses who was there to testify that if I don't begin to change the people who I hang with, they can erode my happiness. I don't know who I'm teaching. I'm preaching to myself. And I want to be happy. I want to be blessed. So I can't be around folk that are wicked. What is wicked? Folk that always want to do evil. What are mockers? Folk that talk crazy. What is sinful? Well, you know sinful. Because I started, see, there's a progression of movement to the place of now, I don't even have the potential to move because I'm on my butt.
Lord.
There was no progression from walking to jogging to running. It was walking to standing to sitting. Why? Because of who was in my company. Your company can influence how happy you are.
Yes, sir. Say, help somebody today.
I got 3 points and I'm out. Separated, saturated, and situated. First of all, you got to be separated from the wicked, scornful mockers. Secondly, you got to be saturated. Verse number 2, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. And on his law does he meditate day and night. So once I get separated, then I got to get saturated. Boy, ain't nobody talking about that. So in other words, once I get separated, then I got to get saturated with the law of the Lord. Now, many of us came up here and got into a prayer hub. And we were dealing with stuff. That's why we had to come up for prayer. And so when I think of being saturated in the law of the Lord, I'm thinking about the word of the Lord. And so as I sat there, I began to Google, give me some promises of God. And this is what I love about technology. This is what I got past the prince of the air. This is what the devil didn't filter on his way to my phone this morning. I got 50 things. I can't do all 50 because our time is running out. But when I get saturated in the law of the Lord, here are some promises that I can hold on to that'll help me get back off my butt to start at least standing again, to walking again, then to running again. Let me tell you something. If this hits you, you feel free to go ahead and claim that promise in Jesus' name. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. All you need to do is be still. Anybody getting your butt kicked? That was for you. Exodus 20:12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live a long life in the land that the Lord has given you. Isaiah 40:29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. I'm talking to saturated folk. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They'll mount up on wings like an eagle. They'll run and not grow weary. They will, here it is, walk and not faint. I'm getting off my butt now. I'm standing back up and I'm starting to walk. Isaiah 41:13. For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, all you scared people, do not fear, for I will help you. Isaiah 43:2. When you this was for me. When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk, there's that walk word again, through the fire, you will not be burned, and the flames will not set you ablaze. I still ain't talking to y'all yet. Isaiah 54:10 says, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord. Isaiah 54:17. Here it is, and I should get about everybody in here. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon against my health. No weapon against my wealth. No weapon against my family. No weapon against my neighborhood. I will refute every tongue that that accuses you. Anybody in here got somebody who got their mouth on you? God says, I'll shut the mouth of the accuser. Isaiah 58:6, it's not the kind of fasting that I've chosen to loose the chains of injustice or set the yoke free, but it's to set the broken and the oppressed free. Anybody in here feel like you've been down so long that you are friends and brothers with the ground? You ought to give God glory today that one of his promises for saturated folk is that I will lift you up and I will set you free and loose every shackle that has come over your life. Happy folk, you've got to be separated. Happy folk, you've got to be saturated. And then lastly, happy folk, verse 3, you need to be situated. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. If I separate myself from wicked folk, if I saturate myself in God's word, God will situate me so fine that I'm always going to be fed by the streams of life, and I will always be fruitful because my leaf shall not wither and I shall bear fruit. I'm done, y'all. Good night, and I'll see you later. But is anybody in here ready to grab onto your happiness? Is anybody in here ready to flip the script on depression and anxiety? I dare you by faith to give God glory in here. Open up your mouth and say, God, I'm going to be separated. God, I'm going to be saturated. And God, I'm going to be situated. Because there ain't nothing, no weapon formed against me will be able to prosper, because I'm going to be separated from the dumb stuff. I'm going to saturate myself with the law of the Lord. And after that, God has no choice but to situate me down by streams of living water. My leaf is going to prosper. My fruit is going to prosper, because God has promised it in God's word. Go outside right now and push over a tree. You can't do it, because it is steadfast, unmovable, always abounding. I'm done. Let me close this to prove it. But when I think about trees, I think about my favorite illustration, that there are certain trees that only survive in Florida. When those hurricanes come through and that hurricane leaves, there's only one tree that still stays standing. Every other tree gets broke. And that's a palm tree. Because when those hurricane force winds come, it is something unique about the palm tree. That when those waters and those winds come, they bend, but they don't break. Boy, there needs to be about 100 palm trees in here today that can say, God, plant me just like that. That when those winds come, those winds of worry, those winds of anxiety, those winds of depression, it's going to be okay, because I've been planted in such a way that when they come, I may bend. But after it's over, I'm going to stand up straight. That is so powerful. I'm going to go downtown tomorrow, ask for my birth certificate, change my name from Cut Tree to Palm Tree. Y'all gonna call me Pastor Palm Tree. Change my name. Because I'll bend. Let me tell you something. I've been a lot in this position. But I refuse to break. And you do the same. God bless you. Good night.